The name of the movie is Hellfest. A traveling horror theme park called Hellfest has arrived in Orange Grove, attracting hundreds of thrill seekers eager for a terrifying experience. 3 friends are venturing into a haunted house, but one of them gets separated when she encounters a dead end. As she searches for an exit, she is unaware that one of the figures among the decorations is not a doll. This figure, the other, has been following her all night. When she turns around, she recognizes him but still believes he is part of the attraction. However, the other approaches and stabs her. To conceal his crime, he hangs her body from the ceiling, making it blend in with the props. Her body remains undiscovered until the smell leads the police to it 3 days later. A couple of years later, Natalie visits her old friend Brooke, whom she hasn't seen in a while due to college and the distance between them. Natalie is displeased to find that Brooke is now living with Taylor, a brash woman who teases her about liking her friend Gavin. Brooke reassures Natalie that they'll have a Taylor-free weekend, but tonight, Taylor is joining them at Hellfest, thanks to VIP tickets from Gavin. On Halloween night, the girls, along with Brooke's boyfriend Quinn, head to Hellfest. Quinn recounts the story of the body found in Orange Grove years ago. Inside the park, they meet up with Asher and Gavin. The group wanders around, taking pictures with the decorations, getting startled by costumed actors, and enjoying drinks while deciding which attraction to visit next. Meanwhile, the other arrives at the park dressed normally. Once inside, he puts on a mask and pulls up his hood, blending in with the actors. After accidentally bumping into a girl who tells him he's not scary, he steals a knife from a food cart. The friends decide to visit an attraction called Deformed School, which is filled with both dolls and actors. As they explore various eerie rooms and hallways, the girls accidentally get separated from the boys. They encounter the girl who bumped into the other earlier. She's scared, crying, and clearly fleeing from something, but the girls assume she's part of the show as she hides behind a curtain. The other appears, but the girls are not impressed. When they try to leave, he blocks their way until Natalie tells him that the woman he's chasing is behind the curtain. The other drags her out and, after Brooke and Taylor leave, stabs her in front of Natalie, who rushes out of the building, feeling that things have gotten too intense. The girls reunite with the boys outside, and Natalie notices the other watching her from afar, putting a finger to his lips to silently ask her to keep the secret. They see him following them around the park as they enter the carnival games area. Quinn wins a prize for Brooke, but Gavin can't win anything for Natalie, so he buys her a pretzel instead. Natalie and Gavin find a photo booth and decide to take some pictures, sharing a kiss after failing to agree on a pose. The other follows them and steals the photos, but Brooke sees him and chases after him. He escapes to a backstage area, which is deserted. When Brooke arrives, she starts to have second thoughts. Suddenly, Quinn startles her by appearing behind her, and together they return to the group, who still dismiss the entire ordeal as part of the show. The friends plan to visit the Deadlands next, but Gavin stays behind, determined to win a toy for Natalie. While the group waits in line for a ride that will take them to the next area and signs a waiver allowing actors to touch them, Gavin tries to buy a prize from a game stand but is turned down. He then sees a man bringing out more prizes and sneaks into the storage room to steal one. After choosing a doll from a locker, he turns around and comes face to face with the other, who trips him with a mallet and then uses it to smash his head. The other then notices messages from Natalie on Gavin's phone, uses Gavin's finger to unlock it, and replies pretending to be him. When it's time to board the ride, Taylor and Asher get into one car, Brooke and Quinn get into another, leaving Natalie to ride alone. While the couples are making out and being startled by various decorations, Natalie's car stops just before the power goes out. A red light suddenly starts flashing, and Natalie sees the other approaching. She tries to escape, but the safety bar is stuck. Meanwhile, the couples have finished the ride and are waiting outside, hearing Natalie's screams. When her car finally emerges, the other is sitting on the hood. As more men wearing the same clothes and mask appear, it's revealed that this isn't the other after all, but a group of actors whose act is to get the cars of single riders stuck on purpose to provide a fright. The group continues exploring the park and stops by a body prop that Asher dares to put his hand into. Taylor is suddenly taken away by one of the actors, but they find her again moments later, having enjoyed the scare. Afterward, a group of creepy children appears to lead them to the Deadlands by hand, guiding them through a hallway filled with smoke and masked men. This time, the real other is watching as well. The group splits again to enter 2 different mazes. The girls enter one with a terrifying laboratory and are chased by a crazy surgeon, while the boys find a house replica filled with lifeless addicts and an old train that causes them to separate. As the other enters the maze and steals a syringe, the girls arrive at a hallway they must cross while hands sticking out of the walls try to touch them. Taylor and Brooke run off, and the door closes behind them, so when Natalie follows, she ends up taking a different path. Natalie enters a room filled with bones and body parts. While searching for a way out, a fake mirror lights up on the wall, and the other appears behind it, hitting the glass with his fist. Thankfully, Natalie finds the exit just in time to leave the building and reunite with the girls and Quinn, who still think Natalie only saw an actor. Now they have to wait for Asher, who hasn't come out yet. He's still inside, lost in the maze, and the other takes this chance to catch him alone and kill him by inserting a syringe in his eye. While waiting, the group is approached by a monster actor who pukes on Natalie's clothes, so she goes with Brooke to the bathroom to wash up. The girls talk about how much they miss each other and agree to go on a trip to Spain soon. After Brooke leaves, Natalie puts her head under the hand dryer to take care of her hair, not noticing the other coming closer and almost touching her. Afterward, she enters a stall to relieve herself while texting Gavin, and something curious happens. Every time she sends a text, she hears the ping coming from another stall. When she's about to leave, she sees the other's boots under the door as he starts shaking it to get inside. Natalie tries to call 911 but has no signal, so she slides under the stall wall to enter a different one. For a moment, she thinks she's safe, but a hand appears above her head and grabs her hair. She struggles until she frees herself and runs out of the bathroom to find Brooke. Together, the girls bring a security guard to the stalls, but he says there's nothing he can do if Natalie wasn't actually hurt and can't identify the guy. Brooke finds Natalie's photo booth pictures on the floor and tells the guard that the other has Gavin's phone, but he insists it must be a prank and he can't arrest anyone for doing their job. The girls reunite with Quinn in front of a stage. They want to leave, but they have no idea where Asher is, and Taylor has volunteered for the show that is about to start. A host appears on the stage and, after hearing that Taylor has been a naughty girl, decides she must pay for her transgressions with her head. An executioner ties her to a guillotine. Natalie notices the executioner's shoes and realizes he's the other in disguise, but when she attempts to stop the show, security gets in her way. The guillotine blade falls and cuts Taylor's head off, which the host picks up and shows to the public, but it's just a fake. This reveal helps Natalie calm down, unaware of what's happening behind the curtains when they close. Instead of freeing Taylor, the other binds her tighter and puts her head under the blade before letting it fall on her neck. It only leaves a thin cut, so the other double-checks the cutting edge before trying again. This time, Taylor manages to undo the bindings and run away. The group tries to tell a guard that two of their friends are missing, but he just thinks they're getting drunk somewhere in the park. Suddenly, they see Taylor running by and asking for help, so they follow her and find her being stabbed by the other. When Quinn tries to stop the other, he gets stabbed as well. The public finally realizes that this is real and starts fleeing in panic, including Brooke and Natalie, who are now being chased by the other while the guards capture the wrong guy. In an attempt to hide from the other, the girls enter another maze, decorated to simulate hell. The other follows them inside and retrieves an axe from one of the prop bodies, then closes the door to the entrance and breaks off the handle. Meanwhile, Natalie and Brooke are constantly jumped on by the attraction's traps, delaying their escape, until Natalie notices sensors on the floor that activate them. Now knowing where to step to avoid triggering the traps, they sneak into a different room and hide in a closet. They try to use their phones to ask for help, but there's no reception. The other walks by, and the girls see his feet through the door gap, but he doesn't know they are there. After waiting a few seconds to be sure he is gone, the girls leave the closet and run back to the entrance, only to find the door stuck. They have only one choice left. They'll have to go through the whole maze. As they continue to avoid the sensors on the floor, they find a room filled with weapons, but they're all fake. To defend themselves, they grab two unlit torches before going back the way they came. They notice that the closet they left open is now closed. They walk very carefully in front of it, thinking the other is going to come out, but they make it through without trouble. After crossing through several other spooky rooms, they arrive at one filled with dolls of all sizes, where the other is hiding. As soon as the girls turn around, he jumps on them and attacks with the axe, but only manages to hurt Brooke on the leg because Natalie sees him just in time and hits him with the torch. She grabs Brooke and helps her run out of the room. After crossing a hallway, they reach an area they believe to be a dead end. They decide to hide by pretending to be part of the masked props. The other arrives as well and, unlike the girls, manages to find the exit, triggering a recording that congratulates the participants on escaping. Since this is the first time he hears it, he knows his victims haven't left and are still around in the room. The other inspects every mask but chooses incorrectly and attacks a doll, getting his axe stuck in it. The girls use this opportunity to act. Natalie hits the other with the torch. However, he overpowers her by kicking her and hitting her with his axe while Brooke runs away. She comes across a sign that makes her choose between two possible paths, and she chooses left, entering a hallway with hands in the walls that try to grab her. Natalie tries to follow her but takes the right path while the other reaches Brooke by breaking through the fabric wall with his axe. Because of the wound on her leg, Brooke is unable to jump over the sensors, activating all the traps, delaying her escape, and giving the other the chance to catch up with her. As the other comes closer to attack Brooke, he accidentally touches one of the sensors with his foot, opening a wall that reveals Natalie. She jumps on him and stabs him with a knife, leaving him bleeding on the floor while she and Brooke finally escape the maze. When they reach the door, they encounter the police, who are finally investigating the area. However, after taking the girls outside, the cops have bad news: they couldn't find the criminal anywhere. Moments later, after the news of the tragedy has reached the media, the other returns home in his car. He leaves his mask and Natalie's pictures inside a cabinet in the garage, where he keeps other masks and mementos from his previous murders. Then, he goes into his living room, where his daughter greets him with a hug and asks if he brought her anything. The other gifts her one of the park's dolls. If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.